As the trade deal review gets closer, the gloves are coming off. I'm Ben Mulroney. The West Block starts right now. As barbs between Ottawa and Washington are being flung across the border, we speak with a member of the Prime Minister's new Advisory Committee on Canada-U.S. economic relations. And in the current wildly heated political environment, we speak with two highly awarded Canadian political cartoonists. As the clock ticks down to North American trade negotiations, tensions are ratcheting up on both sides of the border.
It is outrageous that Canada will not put U.S. spirits on the shelf. It is insulting.
It is.
And disrespectful to America that they won't
Absolutely.
even put...
And my husband has an interest in a company that has American spirits. And they won't do it because of the insults from this president and comments like yours.
Look, you know what's an irritant? 50% tariff on steel, 50% tariff on aluminum, 25% tariff on automobiles, all the tariffs on forest products. Those are more than irritants. Those are violations of our trade deal.
In light of these negotiations, Prime Minister Carney has created a new advisory committee on Canada-U.S. relations, and Lisa Raitt is one of those members and joins us now. Lisa, thank you so much for being here.
Great pleasure.
Okay, so this committee, different than the first iteration that was started by Justin Trudeau. What are those differences and what are the goals of this committee?
It's a different group of people. There are some people who came over from the first advisory council, but I think I would look at it this way. We know a lot more now than we did back then when they chose the first council. If you look at the membership of the council, you can really see some patterns. It really represents the sectors that are being talked about in terms of ones that Mr. Trump has his sights set on. Yeah. So he's trying to get some experience in those areas.
I appreciate what you said just before about the makeup of the committee is focused on those sectors that are being targeted. But you could argue that, yes, you have to deal with that, but this negotiation is also trying to plan for the future and hopefully a long-term strategy for success. And therefore, it's very weak on sort of our 21st century tech economy. Is there any conversation right now about bringing in the Shopifys and the Coheres and bringing in experts in AI so that this new deal will have an outlook on the future?
I think it's fantastic that that sector and that community is speaking up saying, hey, what about us? I think they should continue to do that. It's going to be a decision of the Prime Minister and the Chief Trade Officer and of Dominic LeBlanc. And if they're hearing what I'm hearing and what you're hearing, maybe they'll take that under advisement, but not for me to decide. But if they come on it, I know we would benefit from the wealth of their experience.
I think a lot of us are surprised that the Canada's less than enthusiastic sale of American alcohol is really bubbling up and becoming quite an irritant for the Americans today. Is this a chip we can bargain with?
It would appear to be very problematic for them. And I was just thinking of something the other day, which could be completely off base, but I'll put it on the table anyway. Oftentimes when you go to a Canadian embassy around the world, they're very proud to serve Canadian wines and Canadian liquor. I don't know if the U.S. Embassy is struggling with that right now, and they have a big birthday coming up, 250 years. So the closer we get to that date, maybe the more interested they are in making sure that they can buy American.
Well, Doug Ford is in charge of that. I mean, it's a provincial jurisdiction, as well as the other versions, analogs across the country. That there could be, it could be a bargaining chip for, say, Doug Ford and towards Mark Carney, and then Mark Carney towards Donald Trump.
It's a good point, but when Doug Ford is correct when he says we have these in place because our steel industry is getting hammered, and I can understand where the Premier's coming from.
The Prime Minister has said that Canada has irritants of its own. He went even farther than that. He said the issues aren't irritants; they are violations of our treaty and our relationship. What do you think of that assessment?
Well, we bargained in CUSMA for free trade. And all of a sudden we have these tariffs put on from a security point of view, which are really, I would say, not in the spirit of CUSMA. It's a great argument, but that's an argument. What we need to do is get rid of those tariffs. And sometimes you have to negotiate.
it's hard not to look at these negotiations and sort of experience a tale of two countries. You've got the relationship with Mexico that seems to be moving swimmingly in direction of a deal, and in Canada, either less so or at a different speed or with different priorities. We don't necessarily know. Are you going to be looking for clarity from the Canadian government in terms of what exactly are we trying to achieve here for you to be able to give the advice that you need to give?
I don't know if I need to hear, well, we all know what we're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
We want tariff-free access to the United States because that's what we've always enjoyed. That would be the ultimate goal. But I'd also say, Ben, that we have to be very careful because the relationship has to continue on in a positive way. We need to have a good relationship with Americans. So my advice is going to be at the table, don't go out too far. Don't make enemies of people who are not our enemies, and we have to work with them eventually. You know, get along for the sake of the kids kind of thing.
But knowing what you know about a government and trade negotiations, how far apart are we right now?
We see Section 232 tariffs on some important industries here in Ontario and across the country. Forestry is another one, aluminum, steel, auto parts coming, cabinets, and it's really hurting people who have companies between the size of 50 employees and 1,000 employees. That's the backbone of our economy. And we don't have a path to getting rid of those yet. We need to get a path to getting rid of those. And I don't know how far away we are, whether or not they're considering it. I'm sure we're about to find out.
Lisa Raitt, thanks for the insights.
Great pleasure.